seconds. And okay, everybody, I'll let people in obviously as they arrive, but some of you have not met each other. And so we do have some new coalition members, and of course, I'll let the rest in as they arrive. We have about 20 for those of you who are new, Dana. So actually, I will start with Dana. So Dana, if you want to introduce yourself.
I'm Dana Chevalier. I'm the librarian at PV Library in Eastport.
Awesome. Jane
Jane Blackwood, Washington County Adult Education,
and Christopher,
etc.,
etc.
etc.
So, Christopher Hinshaw, the executive director of the Greater East Grand Economic Council, based out of Danforth.
Right. Angela.
I'm Angela Fogazzado, the Executive Director at the Beth-Wright Cancer Resource Center. We service both Washington, Hancock County, Unbridged Islands, and Aroostook County.
Thanks, Angela. Dylan.
Dylan Pardue, Director of Technology and Systems at Cobs-Cook Institute.
Thank you. And say Jenny has just joined. And so I think, Jenny, I think you know everyone here except Dana Chevalier, who just introduced herself. She's the librarian in Eastport. And oh my goodness, admit all. Better late than never, right?
Yes, so I'm Jenny Jones. I'm with the Maine Seacoast Mission as the Down East Director here in Cherryfield.
And I'll just keep going around. We're just introducing because we have some new members. Melissa, if you're able to come off mute.
Good morning. I'm Melissa Dembo of Chai Savings, and I lead our community impact management. Glad to be here today.
And Laura, I'm so glad you're here.
Hey, good morning. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I'm traveling at the moment, but Laura Thomas with Mono and Mono, Director of the Access and Advocacy Program.
Perfect. And Marcy.
Good morning, everyone. Hi, I'm Marcy Gallioni. I am with the National Digital Equity Center, and I am, among other things, the outreach coordinator. Good morning. I hope it's a good day for all of you.
It is. Indeed. Thank you, everybody. All right. So moving on to cool stuff is, okay, so excitingly enough, and I'm glad, Laura, that you're on, is that we haven't met in a little while. So Maine Connectivity Authority awarded funds for 2 connectivity hubs in Washington County. And one of those is at, excuse me, the Passamaquoddy Tribe at Indian Township. And the other one is at Mono and Mono in Millbridge. And so, Laura, if you just wanted to give some sort of a little informational bit on what you guys are planning for your connectivity hub.
Sure. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully the signal stays good for a few moments. So yeah, we're working with them to get through our application process with them, and they're having their lawyers look at all of what we want to do to make sure all of what we want to do works with what they're able to fund. It's been a back and forth so we're still, I guess, working out all of those details. But we are hoping to build a new space across from our current office spaces. And that would be sort of digital classroom spaces with bigger spaces for big classrooms and smaller spaces for one-on-one meetings, potentially telehealth sort of things or classes or anything that people want to use those spaces for. And including like the ability to access devices in that space that people could just come in and use when they need to for whatever. Yeah, cool. They need them for. But we're still in sort of conversations, figuring out all of the details on the application part. But yeah, that's where we're at right now, I believe.
And how big of an award was it, Laura?
$1.7 million.
Whoa. Woohoo.
Nice.
I know.
Yeah.
And so that is really, really exciting, especially for the, Latinx and Haitian Creole community members that you have. I'm assuming it's going to be open to everyone, Laura?
Oh, yes. Yeah, no, it'll be open to everyone. The space will be, yeah, whoever wants to use the space, however they need it for technology, digital accessing needs. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much for that update, which kind of I'm going to skip a little bit on my agenda because it kind of segues into so Maine Connectivity Authority soon will be opening a digital equity competitive grant program. They are designing what that will look like. There's like $5 to $7 million roughly, I think, for grant funding. And of course, it would involve digital equity stuff. So I can keep you guys all posted as that arrives. But if you think about any sort of tech funding needs that you may have, or projects that maybe you'd like to work on for some of your constituents, that's just something to kind of keep in mind. So they tend to. So I don't know with this. I think it's 5 to 7 million. I could have all my millions wrong here, but they tend to like to see larger projects. So they don't want to fool around with things like $50,000 grants. It's just they don't want to be chasing little tiny bits of money. So then I am going to skip around yet again. The last time that we met, I was talking about a STEM project that I wanted to pilot in a few schools. And it's students would learn how to assemble desktops. They would receive disassembled desktops. They would learn how to assemble them, install the operating system, and then in partnership with a national organization, they would learn one-on-one, the ability to help folks in their community one-on-one. Those devices that they put together can go donated back into the community or donated to a library, whatever it is. And then for students who are super into this, the Washington County Community College is actually the only community college in the state of Maine that offers the 6 Google Career Certificates. And those are free of charge, asynchronous, and Google has a consortium of more than 150 nationwide employers who will use these certificates as entry-level careers. Many of them begin in the low to mid 70s. So in theory, 17, 18, 19-year-old or older could graduate high school with a career, not have to leave wherever. Pick your poison there. Pick Machias or Eastport or Vanceboro and make a living wage for themselves straight out of high school. And so that project really didn't just excite me, but Melissa, I'm going to let you and Christopher take away any updates from here on what happened to that.
Well, we met with Give IT, Get IT in East Grand School, and they're very interested in moving that forward. Chi Savings Bank sent a little bit of money to Give IT, Get IT to help that process happen. And we're just waiting to see how the pilot goes at East Grand. So I'm super excited. And to see I know it's going to be positive because they're already doing it at the Alphon Youth Center in Waterville, and they've built I want to say over 100 computers already in that program. I was supposed to visit today, actually, and I was going to miss the meeting, so I was going to visit, but I was unable to leave home today. But anyways, it's very exciting to bring that technology, to bring that exposure to the youth of Washington County and possibly advance their careers and making really good money. So just the impact and the possibilities has me all excited and hoping that we can replicate it throughout Washington County as it grows. Chris, do you want to add anything to that?
Melissa, you I cannot improve on anything you just said.
So,
It's,
oh, go ahead, Christopher.
no, it's just, I just wanted to elaborate that one of the huge challenges in this region that's been so underserved and so many people struggle with aspiration. That's just such a huge challenge is to have young people dream. It's a deficit. Again, it's not an individual fault. We all know that. It's a regional issue. So having this, and it might appear to be small, but I think it is monumentally important that other young people see young people doing X in the furtherance of their lives and careers. So I can't thank Melissa, Machias Bank, Elaine for moving this forward. It is very heartfelt. Thank you.
Well, and so here's the cool part to the entire thing is that so there are 12 others of me around the state doing this work through Maine Connectivity Authority. Our funding is running out. 2025 will be the last year of the state funding. And so the 13 regional tribal broadband partners, as we're called, we have decided to do a grant application through the National Telecommunications and Information Administration. This would be, it's they like big grants too. So it would be covering the entire state of Maine. It would be about a $12 million grant, which sounds like a lot, but it's divided up between 13 partners over the course of several years. So the exciting part to that is that I am putting in one way or another, folks. I will make this happen. I intend upon doing this program once it's piloted at the Greater East Grand School. I plan on making this available to every high school in Washington County. And Shed High School has already said, we want to do this. And so I will be looking for, this is a small pilot that we're talking about, right now at the Greater East Grand School, so that we can all learn from our guinea pigs. But I will be reaching out to the schools all throughout, the high schools all throughout Washington County. One way or another, this will happen either through my last year of Maine Connectivity Authority funding, or if we are awarded that NTIA grant, then it will be spread out over years. So to that end, I am also working on some other stuff. So I am putting together, so it involves a lot of stuff like stipend supports to libraries, more devices. I'm working on a program for those who are currently incarcerated, that working with, there's an organization that exists everywhere in Maine, except they have a presence everywhere in Maine, except Aroostook and Washington County. And so I have reached out to the Maine Prisoner Reentry Network, as that's the name. And what they do is that they identify those who are currently incarcerated who are about to be reentering within the next year. And so what I will be doing with that is offering for them to take workforce development. You can see I'm workforce development minded this year, this coming year, where they would take courses in person, or whether or not it's through Marcy's organization, the National Digital Equity Center, or some other method, but they would learn work skills. They would be identified through the Maine Prisoner Reentry Network, and people that they could sign up and they would take these classes like Excel and Word and all these other job skills that people need. I don't care where you work these days, you need to have those skills. whether or not it's PowerPoint, Google Sheets, just whatever, so that they have um, these job skills. And once they have completed the program, upon re-entering, they would be given a laptop to, oh yeah, Workforce Development Skills Pro. Thank you, Jane. And so, yeah, so I would be looking for partners with things like that. So I right now am trying to connect with the Down East Correctional Facility and the Maine Prisoner Recovery Network. So that network, the reentry network, I'm sorry, is yeah, so they and oh sorry, and that my idea is that it would be a train the trainer sort of thing where uh someone an incarcerated individual well it would be males because at the facility it's males only. So that it would be a train the trainer so that one of the inmates would be trained to then facilitate these classes. They would be paid to facilitate these classes, which then becomes like another job skill to add to a resume on reentry. So I'm really excited about that. But otherwise, I'm looking for projects that you all might be interested in doing in your region. The stuff that I am focusing on is not just workforce development, but as you can tell, a lot of what I'm focusing on is, but also libraries, all sorts of outreach events and in-person eSport in October. eSports Digital Equity Committee is going to be holding on October 5th a fraud and scam prevention awareness event, for example. So anything that your organization may want to, or say, tech related or our constituents might like, or what they could use would be, I'm all ears. Please tell me, because yeah, so year 3 funding through the state. In about a couple of weeks, I'll be finding out what their focus is for the year, and I can keep you guys posted. So we can kind of talk about some other projects just in case. So just in case the federal grant is not awarded, give us your best shot. Give me your best shot for for what you'd like to see in year 3. So, because otherwise it could be, if we don't get that federal funding, this could just be the end of it, and which would be really unfortunate because we're just kind of getting going. Okay, the only other thing I had, because I am not all about meetings for the sake of meetings. Does anybody have any questions so far?
Elaine,
Yeah.
thank you for your leadership.
Oh, I love doing this. In case you haven't noticed, I'm pretty passionate about it. So yeah, any of these type of things, or so like there'd be devices for libraries and or stipends for libraries so that they can do whatever they want with it, for example, that so trying to pull in all sorts of telehealth is something, so Angela, that's something you and I should talk about. So so we're trying to cover all these things. But so yeah. So, think as big as you can. Kind of, sort of. And then we'll hit up Melissa. No, I'm kidding. And so the other thing is some of you got stipends to purchase devices to give out. Christopher, I know you're well underway. Dana, I know that you bought a public-facing printer, scanner, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And Marcy, nothing. Jenny, you declined because you send it through the Connection Initiative. Angela, I'm just trying to touch base here. Angela, yours is a match.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Using it as a match. Bessie Wright Cancer Resource Center was awarded a lovely Northern Border Regional Commission Catalyst grant, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yep.
So for Washington County residents, here, you explain it. It's
So
important
at
for everybody
the
to know, actually.
the Baileyville Center, we will have a hub there, a Polycom hub, and it will also connect with our telehealth units. And it also we have two Agneses that's fixed at our center for telehealth, and then we have two Ags that are portable that we can do home health. So we'll also be using that at our center with our MAs to be able to do that and do the interface through the Polycoms with the home health.
That's really cool. And like that you guys can do the blood work at the Baileyville office.
Yep.
And this is important for all Washington County residents to know, because nobody wants to go all the way to Ellsworth or Bangor just to find out your blood values or levels, whatever.
Exactly.
And drive all the way home. So
Yep.
it's important for everybody to know. So
Yeah, and we are partnering with Jane with the adult ed program too, so they're a part of that, and they do the training for the MAs. And so we're super excited about that. Right now, we're hosting those students at the Baileyville Center and doing the phlebotomy and clinicals and stuff there. And they're training on our telehealth units. So they have real live telehealth units, not just simulation or talk about it or watch a video about it. They're actually able to use them. And we have an EKG machine there. And all of the vitals, we can do all of the vitals and everything there and do the draws. So
that's awesome. Thank you.
yeah, it's a great project.
Yeah, it is. Congratulations on being on the award. Laura, I know that you were the first straight out of the gate and you burned up your device stipend and then some. Good for you. And so that Dylan, Jane.
Yeah. We've had some ideas on what to use ours for. We were thinking like a computer lab for some digital arts courses that's also open to the community. But our programming committee is still working on deciding exactly what we would be able to do. I think they want to line up like an instructor for courses before we invest in devices.
All right.
But I've put it on their agenda and I've said like, hey, we only have a few months left, so let's get this done soon.
I know. Even if it's committed to something, it just has to be off the books, you know what I mean? Jane, where are you guys, how are you making out with?
We have started, we've had some used to get some of our students laptops
Great.
and things, but Laura, I might want to talk to you about if you've used yours up, because we did a big move this year. It just kind of slowed us up and we lost some funding for English language learners, and I want to Laura and I need to talk because I might be able to use some of that to help there. And I'm going to be writing a grant, try to find some funds to hire another teacher that was taken away from us. So yeah, we're still working on it. It's amazingly slower than I thought it would go. I thought the students are getting laptops from some of the other agencies. So because adult education and training and all the things we do come under workforce development, so they can qualify for things from EMDC and some of the other agencies. But I've got a few ideas.
Yeah, so if there's something that, say, like you do a printing hub or something like that for the students, that would be acceptable as well.
Yeah.
It just has to be public facing, and so something like that would even work, or like Dylan's talking about something that is open to the public and has to do with art and available to the covered populations, and that's that. So
that sounds great.
Yeah, so definitely if you've got something that you're thinking a little outside of the box on, run it by me, because sometimes I have to justify it to the state. So
absolutely.
Not everything
will do.
Yeah. Not everything flies. And so generally they're very, very, you just have to make that pitch of why.
That's right.
so it's, some things they will say yes and some, but usually I can predict what they'll say yes to. I've been working with them for years enough now that I can kind of predict it. And yeah, so that is basically, so I will be looking for, so I did an adjustment to my budget for this year. And so I have funding for another school. It would be a small pilot, meaning like 10 students for that. I'm calling it the STEM kit program. I know Shed wants to do it as a pilot, so I've got funding for them to do it, but I have enough funding for one other school. If you have a school that would be interested in trying it, that you can send them my way, but otherwise I'll start. I think I have a school that's on board, but
What about Rose Gaffney?
Machias, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't reached out to them.
I can connect you with Sue and Robbie.
Okay.
They have a new tech guy there. He's young and he's got tons of energy and he would love this project.
Okay. Yep, that would be cool. And I know Jonesport, they've reached out, Jonesport Beals kind of reached out in an odd sort of, we have camps near each other. So, and said, contact our principal. We might be interested. And so at any rate, but yeah, I'll take any connection. So yep, I need to get that money to give IT, get IT, whatever, by the end of the year. So I need to spend down or hand it back, which I'm not in the mood to do. I don't like handing back money.
No, we'll spend it. We'll find, but I'll send you an email today introducing you to Sue and Robbie.
Sounds great. All right, perfect. All right, so nobody cares if I give you 30 minutes of your life back, do you? No, I like just to hammer this stuff out. I'm wicked psyched about it all. I look forward to Jenny. Don't laugh at me. You're right in the middle of the Brady Bunch square there, laughing at me. So yeah, if you guys have projects or things that you'd think, oh well, if we had this, we could help people do this. So think about it. The big federal grant is due in about 2 weeks, and otherwise, I will have a little less funding than I have had for 2025. But that's why I kind of like that STEM project, with the computers. It's not expensive to do. And partnering with Connected Nation, God love them, they pay the students to do this, to learn how to do it. So it's a fantastic low cost, high impact. That's what I'm looking for. Low cost, high impact. So awesome. Thank you all very much for your time. I'm going to stop the old recording now. I hope I did. But I said, no, it's still recording.